It starts with a heavy sigh, or maybe a sudden, sharp shift in her tone. You are sitting there, having a perfectly normal day, when suddenly, a crisis is dropped right into your lap. But it is not just any crisis. It is a problem that she created. A situation born entirely from her own choices, her own procrastination, or her own emotional reactivity. Yet, somehow within 5 minutes of the conversation starting, the narrative has completely shifted. You are no longer just listening to her vent. You are somehow the villain. She is looking at you with those disappointed eyes, subtly implying that if you had just done something differently, if you had just been more supportive or more proactive, she wouldn't be in this mess. She is handing you a heavy, toxic package of guilt. And in that exact moment, you are standing on the edge of a psychological cliff. Most men completely break when she uses this tactic. They take the package. They apologize for things they didn't do. They scramble to fix a mess they didn't make. They sacrifice their own peace of mind to rescue her from the consequences of her own actions. But today, I am going to show you what happens when you absolutely refuse to take delivery of that guilt. I am going to show you the immense psychological shockwave that hits a woman when you look at her, completely unbothered, and let her face her own consequences. There is a specific reason why this tactic is the ultimate test of a man's frame, and once you understand the hidden mechanism behind weaponized guilt, you will never be manipulated by it again. Welcome back to the Stoic Flame. If you are ready to stop playing emotional games and start building a mindset of unshakable masculine power, you are in the right place. Today, we are pulling apart one of the most insidious dynamics in modern relationships. We are dissecting the exact moment her emotional manipulation fails, and why a refusal to feel guilty is the ultimate display of high value. But before we get to the solution, we have to look deep into the trap. We have to understand why this tactic works so incredibly well on 99% of men. To understand weaponized guilt, you have to understand the masculine savior complex. As men, we are biologically and socially wired to be providers and protectors. When someone we care about is in distress, our immediate primal instinct is to fix it. We want to slay the dragon. We want to lift the burden. This is a noble trait. It is what built civilization. But in the realm of modern psychological dynamics, this exact trait is your biggest vulnerability. When a woman makes a poor decision, maybe she overspent her money, maybe she started unnecessary drama with a friend, or maybe she failed to handle a basic adult responsibility, she is hit with a wave of internal anxiety. No one likes feeling incompetent or wrong. It is deeply uncomfortable. So, her subconscious mind looks for a way to offload that discomfort. And who is the most convenient target? You. The man with the savior complex. She begins to twist the narrative. She uses phrases that start with, "If you had only," or, "How stressed I am, why didn't you?" She isn't asking for your help. She is asking you to absorb her accountability. She is projecting her own failure onto you, so that she doesn't have to feel the sting of it. And this is where the average man completely collapses. The moment he feels that guilt, his savior instinct goes into overdrive. He thinks, maybe I should have helped more. Maybe I was being insensitive. He steps into the frame she just created. He apologizes. He takes out his wallet, or he sacrifices his time to clean up a mess that is not his. He thinks he is being a good boyfriend. He thinks he is being a strong, supportive partner. But what is actually happening beneath the surface is a catastrophic loss of respect. When you take the blame for her choices, you are not acting like a high-value man. You are acting like an emotional sponge. You are communicating to her subconscious that your boundaries are weak, that your sense of reality can be easily distorted, and that you are willing to be her emotional punching bag just to keep the peace. You teach her that she never has to be an accountable adult, because you will always be there to play the role of the guilty parent cleaning up after a reckless child. And let me tell you a harsh truth about human nature. A woman cannot feel sexual attraction or genuine respect for a man she views as a parent, or a man she views as an emotional dumping ground. The moment you accept false guilt, the dynamic rots from the inside out. But what if you decide to change the script? What if, the next time she tries to hand you that heavy package of guilt, you simply keep your hands in your pockets? This is the path of the Stoic. This is the moment where everything changes. If you are finding value in this breakdown and you are committed to mastering your mind, take a second right now to subscribe to the Stoic Flame. Join our brotherhood of men who lead with purpose and refuse to be emotionally manipulated. Now, let us look at the exact strategy to dismantle this trap. Picture the scenario again. She has made a mistake. She is stressed, and now she is turning that stress onto you. She launches the guilt trip. She accuses you of not caring enough or not doing enough to prevent her current disaster. How does the Stoic man react? First, he recognizes the emotion for what it is. He feels that familiar tug in his chest, that urge to apologize and fix it, and he consciously suppresses it. He steps back into his rational mind. He asks himself one simple, powerful question. Did I create this problem? If the answer is no, then the guilt does not belong to him. Period. Instead of getting defensive, instead of arguing and pointing out her flaws, he remains completely still. He looks at her with calm, steady eyes. And he says something incredibly simple, yet devastatingly powerful. He says, I understand you are stressed about this situation. It sounds like you have a tough problem to solve. Let me know how you decide to handle it. And then he disengages. He goes back to his work. He goes to the gym. He completely removes his emotional energy from her crisis. This reaction is a massive psychological earthquake. Let us look at what is happening inside her mind in this exact moment. She threw the guilt grenade, expecting the usual explosion of apologies and anxious fixing. But the grenade didn't explode. It just hit the floor and rolled away. You did not validate her victimhood. You did not accept the blame. And most importantly, you did not jump in to save her. You treated her like a fully capable, accountable adult. In the immediate aftermath, she will panic. This is what psychologists call an extinction burst. When a manipulation tactic that used to work suddenly fails, the person using it will double down. She might escalate the situation. She might accuse you of being cold, heartless, or unsupportive. She will try to hit every emotional button you have to force you back into the savior role. This is the hardest part of the test. Your ego will scream at you to defend yourself. You will want to explain why you aren't being heartless. But you must remember the golden rule of Stoic Flame. The moment you start explaining yourself, you are losing. You must hold the line. You let her words wash over you like rain on a tin roof. You remain unbothered. If she says you are unsupportive, you simply reply in a flat, calm tone, I am very supportive of you fixing this issue. But I will not take the blame for a choice I did not make. Boom. You have drawn an absolute, unbreakable boundary. You have separated your reality from her emotional chaos. You are showing her that your peace of mind is not a commodity that she can trade for her own comfort. When she realizes that her guilt trip is absolutely powerless against you, a profound shift occurs. The panic subsides, and she is forced to turn around and look at the actual problem. She is forced to face the mirror. Without you there to absorb the blow, she has to experience the full weight of her own consequences. It will be uncomfortable for her. It might even be painful. But this pain is the exact medicine she needs to grow, and it is the exact catalyst required to build profound respect for you. When a woman realizes that she cannot manipulate you with guilt, she stops trying. She realizes that she is dealing with a man of extreme emotional fortitude. She realizes that you are a rock. And while her ego might be bruised in the short term because she couldn't control you, her primal, biological instincts will be deeply triggered in the best way possible. She will look at you and see a leader. She will see a man who cannot be swayed by tears or tantrums. She will see a man who holds himself to a standard of truth and who demands that the people around him do the same. This is the hidden paradox of the savior complex. The more you try to save her from her own consequences, the less she respects you. But the moment you step back, hand her the responsibility for her own life, and let her face the fire, she will look at you with a level of awe and attraction that you have never experienced before. You become a safe harbor not because you do everything for her, but because you are unshakable. To achieve this level of detachment requires you to completely rewire your understanding of love and support. Society tells us that being a good partner means carrying each other's burdens to the point of exhaustion. But true, high-value masculinity dictates something different. It dictates that your primary responsibility is to your own mission, your own integrity, and your own peace. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you allow yourself to be drained by manufactured guilt and unnecessary crises, you will have nothing left for your true purpose. When your life's purpose is genuinely more important to you than catering to her emotional whims, she senses it. She knows that she is a complement to your life, not the center of your universe. And paradoxically, this makes her want to be a better partner. When she knows that you will walk away from toxic behavior, when she knows that you will not tolerate being a scapegoat, she will elevate her own behavior to match your standard. She will stop bringing you chaos and start bringing you peace. Refusing to feel guilty is not an act of cruelty. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. It is the declaration that your mind is your own kingdom, and no one is allowed to dump their toxic waste inside your walls. The next time she tries to hand you the blame for her own mistakes, remember your stoic power. Do not get angry. Do not raise your voice. Just look at the package she is trying to hand you. Recognize what it is, and simply refuse to take it. Let it fall. Let her face the reality of her choices. You are a man of value. You are a man of action. You are not a repository for someone else's unmanaged anxiety. Guard your peace ruthlessly. Let the world spin. Let the chaos happen, but remain the calm, quiet center of the storm. When you do this, you will not only destroy emotional manipulation forever, but you will command a level of respect that most men will never even comprehend. Thank you for walking this path with us today. If this script gave you the clarity to recognize the traps in your own life and the strength to hold your boundaries, leave a comment down below. Tell me about a time you refused to take the blame and how it changed the dynamic. Your experiences strengthen the resolve of every man watching. Make sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Stoic Flame. Keep your mind sharp, keep your boundaries absolute, and never let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting your own peace. We will see you in the next one.